Story 1. The Whispering Shadows. Emily had always been a curious soul, drawn to the mysteries that others would shy away from. So when she heard about the abandoned mansion on the outskirts of town, she couldn't resist the urge to explore it. The mansion had a dark history, filled with tales of disappearances and unexplained phenomena. Most people in the town avoided it, but for Emily, it was a challenge she couldn't pass up. One crisp autumn afternoon, she gathered her courage and decided to visit the mansion. The weathered structure loomed ominously against the gray sky, its once grand facade now crumbling and overgrown with ivy. Emily pushed open the rusted gate and made her way up the overgrown path, feeling a strange mix of excitement and unease. The front door creaked loudly as she pushed it open, revealing a dimly lit hallway. Dust motes floated in the air, and the scent of decay filled her nostrils. Emily's flashlight flickered as she stepped inside, the beam casting eerie shadows on the walls. She could feel a heavy presence in the air, as if the mansion itself was watching her. Emily explored the ground floor, finding little more than broken furniture and peeling wallpaper. As she climbed the grand staircase to the second floor, she felt a sudden chill run down her spine. The temperature dropped noticeably, and her breath came out in visible puffs. She could hear faint whispers, just on the edge of hearing, making her skin crawl. She followed the sound to a large, ornately decorated room. The whispers grew louder, filling her mind with a cacophony of voices. Emily's flashlight flickered again, and she saw a shadowy figure standing in the corner of the room. Her heart pounded as she tried to make sense of what she was seeing. The figure seemed to be made of darkness itself, its eyes glowing with an unnatural light. Before she could react, the figure lunged at her, and Emily felt a sharp pain in her chest. She screamed and fell to the floor, clutching her chest. The figure vanished, and the whispers faded away, leaving her alone in the dark room. She struggled to her feet, her mind racing with fear and confusion. What had she just encountered? Over the next few days, Emily tried to make sense of her experience. She researched the mansion's history, discovering that it had once belonged to a wealthy family who mysteriously disappeared. Locals believed the mansion was cursed, haunted by the spirits of those who had vanished. Despite her fear, Emily felt compelled to return to the mansion. She needed to understand what was happening. Armed with a stronger flashlight and a camera, she ventured back to the old mansion, determined to document any supernatural activity. As she entered the mansion again, the whispers returned, louder and more insistent. She could feel the eyes of unseen entities watching her every move. Emily set up her camera in the room where she had seen the shadowy figure, hoping to capture evidence of the paranormal. As the night wore on, the atmosphere in the mansion grew more oppressive. Shadows seemed to move on their own, and strange noises echoed through the halls. Emily felt a cold breeze brush past her, sending shivers down her spine. She turned to see the shadowy figure standing right behind her. She gasped and stumbled backward, her flashlight illuminating the figure's glowing eyes. It reached out a hand, and Emily felt an icy grip on her arm. She struggled to break free, but the figure's grip tightened, and she felt herself being pulled into the darkness. Desperation gave Emily a surge of strength, and she managed to break free from the figure's grasp. She ran out of the room, her heart pounding in her chest. She could hear the whispers following her, growing louder and more frenzied. She had to get out of the mansion before it was too late. She reached the front door and yanked it open, stumbling out into the cool night air. The whispers faded as she put distance between herself and the mansion. Emily collapsed on the ground, gasping for breath. She had escaped, but the experience had left her shaken and terrified. In the weeks that followed, Emily tried to move on with her life, but the memories of the mansion haunted her. She could still hear the whispers in her mind, and she often woke up in the middle of the night, drenched in sweat. She knew she could never return to the mansion, but a part of her remained obsessed with uncovering its secrets. Emily's friends and family noticed the change in her, but she couldn't bring herself to tell them the full extent of what she had experienced. The mansion had left its mark on her, and she knew she would never be the same. One night, as she lay in bed, she heard a faint whisper in her ear. Her blood ran cold as she realized that the mansion's spirits had followed her home. She knew then that she would never escape the haunting whispers of the shadows.